Lakers.
We have seen big reactions to Phoenix. It's the pieces around.
Is there any defense whatsoever?
I'm super excited to be here.
Every summer, teams draft players, trade players, and sign players in hopes of improving their roster for the upcoming season. And this summer was no pushover, without a doubt becoming one of the best off-seasons in recent history. We've seen crazy dramas unfold, generational rookies be drafted, and league-changing trades happen around the league. Welcome to Bebo Threads. These are the biggest winners and losers of the 2023 NBA offseason. The two most obvious winners of free agency have to be the Milwaukee Bucks and Boston Celtics. This summer saw the Bucks come out of nowhere and seemingly steal Damian Lillard away from the Miami Heat. Although giving away Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen and a couple picks, pairing Damian Lillard with Giannis Antetokounmpo instantly puts the Bucks on the top of the list of contenders for next season. Losing Drew is not as bad as people think. We all know the Bucks will easily make the playoffs, so what really matters is how the players perform in the playoffs. While Dame has been carrying a mediocre Blazer team to multiple playoff runs, Drew is known to shrink, which was especially on display against the Heat last season. Not only did Drew stink on offense, but he was also getting torched when trying to guard Jimmy Butler, and Drew is supposed to be one of the best defenders in the league. The Celtics are also obvious winners in free agency, being able to not only acquire Porzingis but also Drew Holiday from the rival Bucks. Although losing Marcus Smart would have initially hurt their defense, getting Drew Holiday back pretty much balances that loss out. Porzingis is a 7'3" big who can block, shoot threes, and create his own shot, giving the Celtics yet another offensive weapon to use. Imagine a starting lineup of Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Kristaps Porzingis. Who's beating that in a 7-game series? Not only adding big names, the Celtics also drafted well as per usual, snagging Jordan Walsh in the second round, who looked very promising in Summer League. The Phoenix Suns are also obvious winners of free agency. After making a huge deal to land KD at the trade deadline last season, it still wasn't enough to beat the eventual championship Nuggets in the playoffs. Out of nowhere, they were able to land Bradley Beal for basically nothing besides an aging Chris Paul. With most of their salary cap spent on Durant, Booker, Beal, and Ayton, many thought that the team would suffer the same curse the previous year's team did. Only star players and not enough good bench players. Most of the damage in the playoffs came from Durant and Booker, and with not enough talent in the other areas, the Suns failed to capture a championship like most thought they would. By signing players like Bol Bol, Yuta Watanabe, Eric Gordon, and Josh Okogie, as well as trading DeAndre Ayton for more depth, the Suns were able to do what many thought they couldn't, and that is have a solid group of bench players as well as their superstar trio. One more winner I have are the Lakers. Ever since the trade deadline last year, Rob Pelinka has been in his bag, making great moves after great moves. First trading for Rui Hachimura, who proved to be a huge part of the Lakers' postseason run, and then flipping Russell Westbrook for D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, and Malik Beasley, further adding depth to their lineup. After making the Western Conference Finals, Rob wasn't done, being able to re-sign Rui, Reeves, Vando, and D'Lo, as well as sign free agents like Taurean Prince, Gabe Vincent, and Christian Wood. With lots of new players and rookies, it should take a while for the Lakers to get clicking, but if they can get going and keep their superstar duo healthy, they will be as good as any other team in the West. Now moving on to the losers. First and foremost, one of the biggest losers of free agency have to be the Miami Heat. Coming straight off a finals loss that wasn't even a close series, it was clear Miami needed some more firepower to actually compete, and that's what they tried to do. Keyword, tried. It's no secret now that the Heat tried to trade for Damian Lillard the entire summer, but they not only failed to do so, they ignored other free agents and Dame ended up getting traded to the rival team in the Bucks. They let Gabe Vincent, a player crucial to their playoff success, walk for nothing, as well as Max Strus, another crucial player, walk to a conference rival in the Cavs. They're still a solid team, but while every contender in the East got better, they got significantly worse. Another loser I have are the Denver Nuggets, just for the simple fact that they lost Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, two crucial players to their championship run, especially Bruce Brown. However, the Nuggets are still, in my opinion, the best team in the world and are still expected to repeat as champions this season. The Toronto Raptors are also losers this offseason. They were in the running for Damian Lillard, could have traded Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, or even Fred VanVleet, but unfortunately for them, none of that happened. Instead, they let Fred VanVleet, a former All-Star, walk for nothing to the Rockets. Now the Raptors are gearing towards yet another season stuck in the middle of the pack, the worst place to be in basketball. You're not good enough to contend for a championship while not being bad enough to snag a top pick in the draft. This comes 2 seasons after the Raptors dragged their heels on dealing Kyle Lowry and gave him to the Heat for pennies. Memphis and Indiana, who reportedly offered 3 first-rounders for OG Anunoby at the trade deadline, have since shored up their wing depth elsewhere. Now, they have no choice but to run it back with a mediocre roster, only being able to sign Dennis Schroeder to replace VanVleet. Making a bold move in the Kawhi Leonard trade is what brought them their only ring in franchise history, but it seems like they're too scared to make bold moves like that to improve their roster now. The last loser I have for this year are the Houston Rockets. Ever since Harden's departure a few years ago, the Rockets have been slowly building a solid young core that could hope to contend in a few years. Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, Kevin Porter Jr., Josh Christopher, and Jabari Smith were supposed to be the future of the Rockets. They added to their young core by drafting Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore, two promising young players with high upside. Unfortunately, lots of that was thrown in the gutter this summer. Josh Christopher was traded after weird videos with Jalen Green surfaced. KBJ was traded after he was arrested for beating his girlfriend. And the Rockets signed Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks for no reason this summer. Not only did the Rockets overpay for Fred VanVleet and Dillon Brooks, but they happen to be the two least efficient players in the entire NBA. Signing those two players make no sense, as they're not going to make the Rockets even close to contenders, and only going to take away shots from their young players. Every NBA offseason is guaranteed to bring drama, trade rumors, and league-shaking moves. With the offseason finished and going out with a bang with the Damian Lillard trade, all we can do is sit back and watch our favorite teams perform. Many teams like the Bucks, Celtics, and Lakers have reloaded their lineups in hopes of bringing a championship to their city. Some teams like the Nuggets and Kings stand pat with their roster, making minimal moves in hopes of keeping the good chemistry going that worked wonders for them last season. And lastly, there are some teams filled to the brim with young talent eager to make names for themselves this season, like the Thunder, Rockets, and Cavs. Who are you rooting for this season, and do you agree with our opinions in this video? Comment below. If you like videos like this, consider subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to follow our Instagram and TikTok for more content. Thank you.